and welcome to today's live broadcast. Today we are going to be talking about L-Lysine, which is an amino acid. We're going to be sharing some information about L-Lysine. We're going to share where you can find L-Lysine and why it might be important for us in this community to consider possibly supplementing with something like an L-Lysine supplement to make sure that we are armed and ready for anything that might hit us in life. And we're going to share a little bit of our own personal experiences as well with incorporating some L-Lysine and what it has helped me with most specifically. So welcome if you're jumping on live. Please take a second to hit that like button or subscribe button so that you will be notified when we go live. We do always try to announce our live topics and when we will be going live, but we don't want you guys to rely on that. We really want you to be set up on your own platforms so that you will get a little bing or notification when we're ready to broadcast. My name is Diane and this is my husband,
Michael.
And here on Fridays, we do try to incorporate some topics of conversation that are not just specific to the aging woman, but to the aging people in general, or people who just are looking to have a healthier life, and they're looking to do that through incorporating a healthy lifestyle for themselves. So I am a certified exercise nutrition coach. Michael and I have both been working in the health and fitness side of things through the supplementation and fitness program arena. And so we are pretty well versed on supplementation and really are confident in doing research and figuring out how these things might apply to us in our everyday life. And so we want to share a little bit of that information with you here today. We have a little saying in our house and it's GTS. And we refer to that as Google that stuff. Or
Not
Google,
really.
Not really, but
that's the PG version.
That's a PG version, but Google that. You can fill in the S part for whatever you want. And really anything can be searched or researched, thank goodness, to the internet. That's why we're all here gathering together. And what we really like to do is pick apart what applies to us and then sort of take out the areas that may not apply to us. And then we always refer to like medical information when necessary. So that's what we're hoping to be able to give to you guys in the way of confidence, that if you have anything ailing you, like you can go into a doctor's appointment pretty well versed on information by just doing a simple GTS, Google search, and then going in with your own information and a way to kind of figure things out for yourself or insist on some things that you want to have available to you in the form of treatment or maybe supplementation or whatever. So L-Lysine, I personally have talked about it here before because I have used it as a way to help me combat having shingles. So I had a shingles breakout probably 6 or 7 years ago. I had no idea what it was. I started breaking out here on my neck. Then I actually started feeling it like I was getting the flu type symptoms. Anything that touched my skin just ached me. I just didn't feel good internally. I felt sick. Then I started breaking out with like a rash and kind of welts, and it went like all the welts and stuff went all over my head, and it ended up encompassing like my whole body. When I went to the doctor, they guessed that it was shingles, and so they gave me an antiviral type of medication to take care of it. And for those of you who don't know, shingles is something that we get as we age. Supposedly it's supposed to be something that happens as we age, but I know a lot of women in their 30s, again, aging is just a process of living, have also come down with shingles. If you've had the chicken pox, you're more likely to get shingles as you age. A lot of times if you're in stressful situations, you can have a shingles outbreak. There's vaccines for it. I'm not a proponent of vaccines for those kind of things. I'd rather head it off with something like what we're going to talk to you about today. So I went to the doctor, had an antiviral medication prescribed to me. I took it. It did nothing for me, and no relief in my symptoms at all, or the feelings that I was having. Went back, had a second viral prescription prescribed to me, different version. Again, no symptom relief at all. When I got to my 5th, so I think it was probably about 5 months worth of antiviral prescriptions, I got so sick from those that I was deeply depressed, and I was getting migraine headaches that were really scary and just really dark, negative, scary thoughts going in my head that I'm just not accustomed to. I can definitely be I can get into depressive modes, but those were scary. And so I started researching on the internet, like what I can do homeopathically to offset shingles or cure shingles. And what I stumbled upon was L-Lysine. I researched how you can megadose on L-Lysine to kind of get a kickstart in your system. I followed the protocol I found on the internet, and sure enough, within 24 hours, the signs and symptoms of my shingles started to go away, and within 3 days, my shingles were gone. So I have always said I will always have a bottle of L-Lysine in my medicine cabinet or my supplement cabinet in case I start to feel that feeling again of breaking down with shingles. So let me go into a little bit of L-Lysine now that you know my background and history of using L-Lysine to combat a virus. I'm going to share a little bit with you about what lysine is. L-Lysine, did I say lysine? L-Lysine. The L part is just the fact that it's an amino acid. L-Lysine is basically the name of the amino acid. We're going to go through some things. I'm going to share with you some foods you can find that have L-Lysine naturally occurring in them. And then we're going to share a recent situation that has, and then Michael has some information he wants to share with you guys as well. So L-Lysine is basically a building block of proteins. And within itself, it has many, many benefits to us. And it's one of those supplements that is not like a top of conversation at like a cocktail party or anything. So it's one of those things that we would never even think about until we need it or until we've been exposed to it. And then we're going to ask ourselves, why the heck are we not supplementing ourselves with such a great, powerful tool for healing? So without enough lysine in your body, you may be unable to produce sufficient or appropriate hormones and immune cells. So we're always trying to combat bacteria or viruses or illnesses or just immune system breakdowns in our body. That's why we're trying to live this healthy lifestyle. And something like L-Lysine can be that thing that we can actually start supplementing with that will make our immune system even a more powerful protection mechanism for us against anything that might be ailing our bodies. So some foods that are rich in L-Lysine were very shocking to me and made me realize why it is, especially in this community, if you're practicing intermittent fasting or specific lifestyle habits, why supplementing might be a good idea. So yogurt, cheese or dairy products, apples, mangoes, apricots, and pears, fish, specifically noted was flounder, chicken, and red meat. The vegetables that were specifically identified as being high in L-Lysine were potatoes, peppers, and leeks. The fruits were avocados, apricots, and pears, like I've already said. And then soy, which we try to avoid, kidney beans, chickpeas, and then macadamia nuts, pumpkin seeds, and cashews. So I was like, okay, well, the macadamia nuts, pumpkin seeds, and cashews, for sure, I have no problem consuming, but I'm not going to go back to consuming dairy. We're really on the verge of not consuming meat or even poultry in our house very much anymore, if at all. So we can't get it from there. We're not big fruit eaters anymore. So there goes that. So really potatoes and cashews, macadamia nuts, and pumpkin seeds. Well, we probably have a pretty good chance of being a little deficient in L-Lysine because a lot of the foods where it's naturally occurring, we just aren't consuming anymore. So those are always good things to know if you have a very specific lifestyle that you've created as far as your nutrition, that there could be things that you could just incidentally become deficient in because you've just cut certain foods out of your diet. So those are always good things to research and to know about. So there's 4 health benefits of lysine, which I want to share with you guys. One is, and these are all mays and could be's, and there's been some clinical trials. So just take this as good to know information and then go ahead and do some more GTS for yourself. So the first one is may protect against and treat cold sores by blocking arginine. So arginine is another amino acid, but arginine is an amino acid that really does help viruses, specifically the HSV1, so the herpes simplex virus 1, which is a cold sore producing type of virus. Arginine helps that virus multiply. So if you have high levels of arginine in your system, you might be one of those people that's susceptible to cold sores or sores in your mouth. if you have if you supplement with L-Lysine, it actually suppresses the arginine and can control an outbreak of a cold sore. So good information to know, because you should also be researching what foods are high in arginine so that you can maybe avoid those and increase the ones that have the lysine in it, so you can stop the multiplication of or the duplication of the HSV1 virus. That would be the cold sore type of virus. The second health benefit is may reduce stress or anxiety by blocking response receptors and reduces the levels of cortisol. So we talk about cortisol here a lot. We talk about anxiety, we talk about stress, we talk about cortisol being a hormone that, if it is out of balance, can also cause other hormones to be out of balance. Because remember, our hormones are always trying to figure out a way to work together, right? They want to work in sync. And if you have your cortisol levels too high, then you're going to find that other levels are going to be...
In fasting, you'll get your cortisol levels will get high.
Yeah, just because it's a stress. So L-lysine can be one of those things that, if you find that you're anxious or you have high cortisol levels, can actually help with that and actually naturally lower your cortisol levels as well. So if you're just anxious or stressed out, just add a supplement of L-lysine into your daily routine. The third health benefit is may improve calcium absorption and retention. Again, in this community, the one thing that's always getting like kind of shoved down our throat is, are we taking enough calcium to offset osteoporosis? We've also talked about the fact that calcium really isn't needed as much as we thought it was before. We talked about that in our magnesium discussion that we had. So if you want to get familiar with that discussion, just search that in my YouTube search bar, the discussion we had on magnesium. And that magnesium is really the nutrient that we need to have, the mineral that we need to have more in our body. But the society is telling us that we need more calcium. So what we can do is not have to be so stressed out about how much calcium we're consuming, but if you took in something like L-lysine, it could actually make the calcium that you're getting in your daily nutritional intake absorb and stick in your body where it needs to stick. And what they're also saying with L-lysine is that not only is it helping calcium absorption and retention in your body where it's needed, but it's also helping your body from having a buildup in your bloodstream, in your cells, in your body, your blood vessels, from too much calcium. So it does the good part of calcium, and then it also helps offset the negative part of calcium. So L-lysine can benefit in both aspects when it comes to calcium there. And then the fourth health benefit to supplementing with something like L-lysine or eating foods that are higher in L-lysine can promote wound healing by helping create collagen. So there's that magic word again, that us, especially women, are always trying to find ways to help collagen production, because we know as we age, our body just stops naturally producing collagen. We know that by the fact that our skin starts to wrinkle and our skin starts to sag. We lose a little bit of that elasticity that we used to have in our skin. And L-lysine is essential for the formation of collagen and is an essential protein that affects wound repair. So cut yourself and you have enough L-lysine in your system, again, your body will actually help speed up the process of healing. We also know that fasting does that. So fasting and L-lysine supplementation could be that magic cure. And also, because of what I went through with my shingles, I know it helps me get through that within 2 days after 5 months of prescription medicine, which who knows what the side effects of those things were other than depression and migraine headaches. And L-lysine really has no negative effects unless you just overdose on it. And what they were saying with the negative effects could just be diarrhea or stomach cramping, and that just means that your body's system just isn't absorbing it or metabolizing it. And so you just want to be wary of that or pay attention to that, and then you just pull back on your supplementation. So that's really no big deal, but no life-threatening things like migraine headaches and severe depression, which, right, I'll take that any day. Mm-hmm. So Michael, why don't you share with us some of the common things that people could be suffering from where L-lysine supplementation might be beneficial?
Well, some of the common things that you might not even be thinking about are, heart palpitations. A lot of people deal with heart palpitations. They start dealing with a lot of stress, like Diana said before, muscle spasms, diminishing visions, eye floaters. You know, those eye floaters where you see the little rainbows. I think we all get that every now and then. Fibromyalgia. There's a lot of people dealing with
so many people suffering.
autoimmune disorders and fibromyalgia, and like Diane's already dealt with the cold sores and tongue sores, chronic fatigue, cancer, multiple sclerosis. I mean, it's just, the list just goes on and on and on of frozen shoulder, numbness, dizziness, burning pains. So there's a long list of things that this could possibly help you with. So it's worth giving it a try. And it's amazing that you don't have, well, we know why, but your doctor's not going to say, yeah, just go to Target and get you a $5 bottle or whatever it costs, $3 bottle of L-Lysine. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, so I think the 5 prescriptions I had when I had shingles were, I think they were like 20, whatever your copay is. So they were probably $20 a piece. Every time I had to go back to my doctor for a follow-up appointment because I wasn't getting better, it was $20. So $40 times 5 is a lot of money. And then what I ended up doing, like Michael said, is I went to like Target, because I was like, I think I was Googling, which most people do, right? They secret Google at like midnight or whatever, at 10 o'clock at night. So I went to Target late at night and ran in and got a bottle of Target brand, just not even a name brand, like a Target brand L-Lysine. And I followed the mega dosing instructions off what I found on, I think it was like PubMed or something like that. And like I said, within the next morning, I already started to feel better. And my L-Lysine was $5.99. So, you have to do, I think sometimes you have to go through the route maybe that I went through, but maybe you can cut it a little bit shorter after listening to this, because it's scary when you're sick and you're not feeling well and you go to the doctor and you're like, just give me whatever it takes to make me feel better. And that's really the place I was at when I was really suffering from shingles. And if you've ever had shingles before, it is like you just want someone to just end it for you. It's so painful. And so I was like, just give me whatever. And then the fact that I was feeling absolutely zero relief from the signs and signals that my body was sending me that I had shingles. What the medicine wasn't doing for me, it wasn't healing me from the shingles, but it also wasn't providing any relief. And so I'm gonna have Michael tell you the story about what we just went through with L-Lysine and shingles, what made us talk about this today.
Shingles you can get at any age. I had a case of shingles.
Yes.
At the age of, I was in my 20s, and I got shingles on my hip. I had no idea what it was, and it was just one spot. And like Diane said, it's probably from having chicken pox as a kid. And man, is it painful, And I wish I would have known back then what I know now about L-Lysine.
Or what if we do know now? Like, I mean, I know now that there's chickenpox vaccines and stuff like that, where your kids don't get chickenpox today like we had, like we all had when we were younger. But what if you could, like, I don't know, I think Gabby and Logan, they both had the chickenpox vaccine, but they broke out with a very light episode of chickenpox. What if you could just amp up some apricots during that time frame or something for your kids, or give them some extra macadamia nuts or something, and maybe that could speed along their healing process, or find some chewable L-Lysine or some multivitamin with L-Lysine in it or something like that, so that they can get through the phase of it as well, because they're just sister kind of viruses, right?
Yeah. So fast forward to about a month ago, this one over here, she woke up one day and her eyes are just burning, and they were like flaking and watery, and she just swore up and down, it's got to be this Texas, right? Because we have this cedar, what is it, cedar pine something or another tree, and around this time of year, starting winter, like all the way until like spring, then you deal with spring allergies, but she thought it's possibly an allergy that she's dealing with, and it didn't seem to be an allergy anymore. Then we thought maybe it's the nickel on these, not these glasses, or other glasses. And so we went
because nickel allergies run in my family.
Yeah. So that runs in her family. And so she thought possibly it's the glasses. So she went and got these glasses, changed out the other glasses, and it's not the glasses. Then she thought, well, it's got to be the makeup. It's got to be the makeup. So she scrapped her makeup. And
you all know how expensive makeup is. So I thought, well, if there's something in my makeup that if I keep using my makeup and it's recurring this thing because it's tainted or whatever with it, then I literally threw all my makeup out and got all new makeup. So let's add that expense on to everything else.
Okay, so it wasn't the makeup. Then she thought, well, I've been eating walnuts, a lot of walnuts lately. Maybe it's the walnuts. So she's taking everything out. She's doing what she teaches. Like, she's eliminating stuff, introducing stuff back in. Meanwhile, she goes to the doctor, and the doctor gives her
Pink eye.
some pink eye medicine. She said, oh yeah, absolutely, it's pink eye. So she got pink eye medicine. And I think you got a little relief for that for like a day or so, right? And then it was back again.
So it soothed the signs and symptoms, but it didn't fix the deep problem, because I did feel internally like, yeah, you know how sometimes when you get like allergies, you feel like internally sick or whatever. So I kept feeling like internally sick. It wasn't just a surface level thing. I kept telling Mike, I'm like, something seems off, something doesn't seem right, but it was with my eye. So we did the process of elimination, went to the doctor, got the pink eye stuff. Then what happened?
Then she got a little bit of relief, maybe for a day or two. Then I think we went out of town, and when she came back.
Oh, we went to Hawaii.
Yeah, we went to Hawaii, and when we came back, her eyes started watering again. She goes, it's definitely Texas. It's these allergies for sure. So she went to the doctor again. Now they're giving her a Z-Pack.
And a cream.
And a cream for her eyes.
So second prescription.
So that seemed to work, where she got some relief from that, and then it came back.
Yeah, so
like
it never
totally
went away. It just felt better.
Right. And then when it came back
the third time.
Well, back up to the second time. Second time I mentioned L-Lysine, and then the third time I mentioned it again. I said, you know what?
Well, because the doctor said it's probably a virus. And so I came home and told Mike, I'm like, oh, the doctor thinks it's some sort of virus. And so as soon as I said virus, he said, why don't you
use the L-Lysine? It worked before. Why don't you try that? She goes, okay. So she tries the L-Lysine stuff.
So I did what I did before,
like
I mega dosed on it. I can't say what a mega dose is. You guys have to research that because I'm not qualified to diagnose or treat anything. So GTS. And so I did what I know how to do, and I did it for a 24-hour period. So I mega dosed in the morning. I mega dosed that night, and by the time I woke up the next morning, everything on my eyes was gone, like within 24 hours, and it hasn't come back. I did the mega dose for one 24-hour period, and now literally now I have this on my counter, so I'll walk by and I'm like, oh, I'll just pop an L-Lysine. So I just kind of popped them whenever I felt like it. Nothing has come back since that time frame. Again, let's add up. We always have this in our cupboard, so I don't have to spend any money. It was $30 every time I went to the doctor, times 3. The first time it was 2 prescriptions. I think it was $20 per prescription there. $20 the second time he gave me more cream. And then the third time he's like, oh, since the first cream didn't work, let's give you another cream. So 2 different kind of creams. So let's add all that money up. Yeah, did I have to go through that? Probably, because I didn't never think it was a virus. But now I know when it happens again, if I have that kind of thing happen, I'll just kind of go to this first and see what happens within a 24 to 48 hour. So I do think it was some sort of virus. Could it have been some sort of light form of shingles? The other thing Michael didn't mention, and he can read this off for you too, is all the different strains of things that doctors aren't aware of. So there are, Michael will read it for you.
The Epstein-Barr virus has 60 strains.
So that's sort of like the equivalent of the flu shot coming out. And I don't want to get on the flu shot debate because I know people are super passionate about it. But I don't personally ever get the flu shot because I don't want to be part of a crapshoot vaccine concoction. Like, oh, well, we think this is what the flu virus is going to be. I don't want to be part of that. And so think about, like, Epstein-Barr has 60 strains. If you go to the doctor and they say you have Epstein-Barr syndrome or whatever it's called, how do you know which strain of that is so that you can be treated for it? They do what they did to me both times I had a virus. Well, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this one. And they're going to go through 60 different types of antiviral medication until they find the one that clicks. That can be kind of scary, not to mention expensive.
And then shingles, you have 31 strains of shingles. both rashing and non-rashing.
So this could have been
shingles.
a strain, a part of shingles maybe, because I've had them before, and maybe they just came out in a different way.
Herpes simplex virus 1, I'm assuming that's what HSV is,
Yeah.
has close to 10 strains. HSV 2 has 15 strains, plus other herpes simplex viruses. Then there's 20 strains of cytomegalovirus. I don't know what that one is.
Virus, yeah.
You know, so there's a lot of strains.
So and it is, and again, I'm not dogging the medical industry, but I'm just kind of saying, well, gosh, now it's been twice that I have many medical stories I could tell you that didn't work out in my favor. But like, okay, so now I know if it's something that seems like a virus, like go to your doctor. Like I'll go to the doctor next time and go, does this seem like a virus? Okay, thanks. And I'll come home and take this and see if I can offset it. Because it's worked for me twice in two completely different types of breakouts and in two completely different scenarios. And within a 24-hour period, I felt better. And let's go past what I just shared with you and what I've been able to do with L-Lysine. Let's talk about the other things that Michael talked about, the everyday little signs and signals that are just sort of nuisances to us, right? Like aches and pains, migraines and heart palpitations, which is not a nuisance. That could be a very serious thing, but it could have nothing to do with a heart condition. It could just be that you're deficient in something. And the thing that I really like to caution for people who do things like intermittent fasting for long term, or are in the situation like we're in, where we're like, I just don't trust food these days. And I'm going to share some stuff in my mastermind series course that I'm going to be doing for some of my graduates. As you know, we're going to be talking about like just how much stuff is in our environment. Like this, what did I say, 15,000 pounds of estrogen like floating around in our agriculture system and in our water system because of all the birth control pills that women are taking. That's just the birth control pills. What about all of the hormone replacement therapy hormones that women are taking? That comes out of our system. Like we excrete that through our urine, and then we flush that into the water system. And Michael had a brother who used to work for the water
treatment system in Kentucky. And he told me, he said, you know, we have to do a lot of research and study on this stuff. And he said, the only thing we cannot get out of the water is the estrogen. He said, we can get just about everything out but the estrogen. And it's causing all kinds of problems because there's backflow of water going into creeks and ponds, and you got boy fish turned into girl fish, and you have, you know, boys that are growing, you know, they have the clitomasty with a growing breast, and you know, girls starting their periods early. I mean, like all this stuff. I mean, just from coming from, forget fast food and all that stuff. This is just from the water.
You know, so again, not to be anti-food, because we have to eat food, but you know, we really do not need to start thinking about how can we invest more in our food, and how can we invest more in having water that we have a little bit more control over. Is this Gucci water? 100% it's Gucci water, but I have a body that I want to protect, and I have kids' bodies that I want to protect, and so I'm gonna throw a little bit more out for my Gucci water, and I'm gonna cut out in some other areas. Some other areas that we've decided to cut out on is Gucci meat. Like we don't need to have that much protein in our life. We know that. I know that through the holistic nutrition studies that I've been doing. I know that through a lot of vegans that I admire, and I see what they're doing with their life, and so cut out some of that meat expenditure and invest in a little bit better water. Cut out in a little bit of that wine expenditure, invest in a little bit better water. Cut out in some of that food that could be making you sick, and maybe add a little bit of supplementation in it, so we're not spending so much on these, oh, well, let's try this thing and see if it works, and let's try this thing and see if it works. I wish I could go back to my doctor and go, yo, bro, like this worked. Can I have my $100 back? You know, like that you wrote out in a prescription for me thinking this might work, and oh, you know what, if it doesn't work, just if you're not feeling better in a couple weeks, just come back and we'll just go ahead and charge you that $30 copay again, and I'll throw another prescription out for you that's $20, and we'll see if that one works. Like after a while that gets a little time consuming and a little old and really expensive. So GTS, Google some stuff and see if maybe taking in some extra supplementation might bridge a gap for you. And look at some of the foods where these supplements are naturally occurring. And I know a lot of these foods we just don't consume on a regular enough basis to probably keep us armed with L-Lysine, so that if some virus comes in and gets in our system, our immune system might not be able to fight it. Not because it's not strong, but it might not be armed with something specific that it needs to fight it off. And so that's where I want you guys to start thinking about some things as we become very finite about what we're putting in our body. We're really good about clearing out our environment. We're really good about drinking lots of clean water, but we're also being very careful and really considering some other things in our diet that we just think, God, it's not necessary for us to consume in that way, but we might be missing out on some things, and we're just not afraid to supplement with something like, you know, this, in lieu of eating more food that's containing those things. And the other thing to consider about food and maybe becoming naturally or innocently deficient in some things is that, you know, our food is not as nutrient dense as it used to be. So how many apricots do you need to eat to get sufficient enough L-lysine in your system? Who knows, you know? Or maybe it could just be that thing that you amp up something like this when you start to feel like maybe something's coming on that you can't fight off yourself. So
and people a lot of people in our age group suffer from hot flashes, insomnia, and leg cramps. L-lysine would be a great supplement for that. So I mean, you could consider it for those things, because it seems to be a pretty common thing, you know, with people in our age group.
Yeah, and add it in. You know, you don't have to necessarily add it in every day, but add it in like, you know, like I do. Like I'll walk by the kitchen and go, oh, I haven't had L-lysine in a couple days. I think I'll just pop one. Like no big deal. You know, just when you're feasting or whatever, just pop one in. And I think some of these things can really help bridge the gap for us. And trust me, if you get shingles, the first thing I would do is, you know, if you start feeling that thing come on, or maybe you've had shingles before and you know what it feels like, go grab yourself some L-lysine and start popping those bad boys. Give yourself a day or two before you go to the doctor and see if maybe you can avoid some of these antiviral type of experimental prescriptions that they're going to give you, hoping that they got the right strain of shingles virus medication for whatever it is that's ailing you. Now, what is there, like 30 of them, you said?
Yeah.
Dude, I had 5, so I had 25 to go to find the right one. No way. There's no way I wanted to go through that when I found a very simple way to take care of it. And maybe you just add it in to just safeguard yourself.
And there's a lot of people dealing right now with anxiety and depression. And I mean, what if L-lysine could be that little connector for you to keep you from being so anxious?
Yeah.
It's worth a try.
Yeah. Okay, so let's check the questions and comments. It's always longer when me and Michael talk because you get double of us. Amy, hello. Jack, Susan, actually, here from Florida. L-lysine works great for cold sores too. Yeah, exactly. And that's really, when I was looking for shingles relief, it always referenced cold sores first, but then it broke it down into, you know, shingles, cold sores, chicken pox. They are all part of the herpes simplex virus. Those are all part of the different strains. So yeah, if you have cold sores, I would take L-lysine daily, just to make sure you didn't have an outbreak. Amy, hello, girlfriend. Tina, hello, or Ashley, she tagged, so hopefully Ashley jumped on. Susan, Michael mentioned fasting raises cortisol. Can you touch a little bit on this?
That was Jack.
No, Susan. It's actually Susan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just because so exercise, fasting, they both are stressors. They both do raise cortisol levels, but not in a negative way like stress does. And so those two things are actually considered positive stress, but still stress, because you're causing your body to do more work than it's used to. Those levels eventually balance out. And that's why I never really recommend doing extreme fasting or extended fasting, especially when you're new to fasting, because it does put your body in a level of stress and anxiousness that it's not used to, and can put you out of balance as opposed to putting you in balance. So the more comfortable you get with fasting, or what I call when you become a mature faster, you can experiment a little bit more because you're not throwing your body into shock, and you won't, you know, raise those cortisol levels.
And the best balancer is cardio. I mean, some really hardcore cardio, but whatever hardcore is for you. But if you work up a good intensity and a good heart rate, you're going to feel the cortisol levels come down.
Yeah. Okay, Tanya, hello. Danielle is here. Lori, what are the foods that are high in L-arginine? Does collagen supplementation help with collagen stores in the body? It does. Collagen supplementation does work. I take collagen. I've been taking collagen for probably a couple years now. So here's the thing about taking collagen that I really, and even fasting, people, that fasting does help with the reduction and slowdown of wrinkling, and so does collagen. It helps with skin improvement. Your skin will glow and all those kind of things. But there are just some deep wrinkles and stuff, and some, what are they called? Expression lines. That are just deep, collagen's probably not going to take care of them, but they will help the fine lines and will help the general appearance and texture of your skin. I've definitely noticed that for sure. But the deep wrinkles or the expression lines and those kind of things, you might see a little bit of improvement in those, but they're not going to make them go away. So I never like to give a false impression of those kind of things. You have to kind of do something a little bit more, I don't want to say extreme, or you have to do something specific to help with that there. So hopefully that answered that question. Patty, hello. This is awesome information. Thank you so much. You're super welcome. Maria, what about EBV? Do you recommend a brand? What's EBV? What do we say about EBV? You can tell me what EBV is. Do you recommend a brand? And Sandra, hello. Maria, doctor never gave my daughter anything when she had mono. Can you take L-Lysine long term? So you can take it as a daily supplement. Let me see, the daily recommended allowance, or this. So this is the one we have at Spring Valley. This is a really good brand because it doesn't have any fillers in it, like soy or gluten or any of those kind of things. And I think I just got this at my local CVS or something like that. This one is 1,000 milligrams. I think 500 to 1,000 milligrams is the daily recommended allowance. So anything over that would be considered mega dosing. So I would say maybe pop one a day. You're probably going to be fine. Again, that's my experience. I can't really say what to take. You guys got to do a little research on that. Kathleen, hello, girlfriend. Lori, when do you take your L-Lysine, during IF or only feasting? I usually take stuff when I'm feasting, or the best time for me, in my opinion, to take supplementation is before you go to bed. Even if you're in a fasted state, you're in the beginning stages of your fasted state. So I always say take anything supplementation wise, or if you can, medication at night before you go to bed. You'll sleep through it, and then you can have a nice long fast for the rest of your day. I don't really like to take supplementation first thing in the morning if my goal is to clean fast. So you have to determine what your goal is. Maria, amino acids, are they key? Yeah, they are key, actually, because they're the building blocks of protein. Lori, I already did that one. Tina, listening as I'm driving this afternoon. Thanks for another great topic. Oh, you're welcome. And I'm glad you can listen to us when you're in the car. That's a good use of time. Lori, is there such a thing as a non-animal source of collagen? Yeah, there's marine collagen. I think that's non-animal. I think it's probably just seaweed type of things, I think. And you can get vegan collagen as well. You can just Google it and you should be able to find something. Sheila, happy Friday to you too. Maria, Epstein-Barr. Okay, so what did you ask about Epstein-Barr again? Let's see, Maria. What did she ask about? She asked something about Epstein-Barr. Did I lose her? What about Epstein-Barr? Do you recommend a brand? Oh, for the L-Lysine, I would say this. Anyone, I would say any L-Lysine that you can get that doesn't have gluten, soy, corn, or dairy in it. So you just got to read the supplemental ingredients in it and just make sure it's clean. Let's see. Diane, hello from Pennsylvania. Sheila, do you use MCT oil ever? Nope. We talked about that before. Michael and I were using MCT oil and we had a really bad reaction to it. We started to get allergic type reactions, almost like anaphylactic, like our throat felt like it was closing, our eyes got swollen.
There's people that have great success with it. It just didn't work.
Didn't work for us.
We have used coconut oil.
Yeah, but we use it sparingly too because we start to get those feelings. And then make sure if you're using MCT oil that it's pure MCT oil. A lot of MCT oils are enriched, and we actually found an MCT MCT oil, where the company was claiming that it was pure and it was actually enriched with soybean oil. So make sure you're reading your labels, people, because they'll sneak some soybean in anywhere they can. Mariana, great info on L-Lysine. My husband and son suffer from cold sores. I'll share this with them. Yeah, for sure. And like I said, even like one, whatever the daily recommended allowance is, might prove to help them not get new ones. And if they have a breakout, Google how to mega dose L-Lysine to get rid of a cold sore quickly. Is it L-Lysine? Yes, Jacqueline, you got it right. L-Lysine, just like it sounds. What you got over there, Michael?
Okay, and on YouTube, we have Jennifer from Michigan. Hey, Jennifer. We got Ann Ford from Maryland. We got Deanna from Colorado Springs. And Donna, hi guys, from Australia. From down under.
I'm
there
down
we
under.
go. We got Capri. We use L-Lysine for herpes sores on the mouth.
Yep, perfect.
And then we have Sarah. She says hi from Boston.
Awesome. Okay, so just that information that we love to share. I love that we have an opportunity to share some of our own personal stories too. It has proven to work twice for us, and I believe that like every woman should have this in their medicine cabinet just in case. And now we know too that there's so many other benefits from it. It could be just one of those things that you become naturally deficient in because of some healthier food choices that you're making. And yes, Michael and I do believe that we are making some healthier food choices for us and our family. And that could mean that now we have to supplement with L-Lysine. Like, that's fine by us. A lot of the research I'm doing with my holistic nutrition has been scaring the bejeebers out of me, even just with meat and chicken and some of those things. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll take an L-Lysine supplement any day over, being exposed to some of those things. And then there's good stuff too. So, we're not going to become extremist in any way. I'm just going to be very cautious about how frequently I'm consuming certain things in my diet. And if that means I have to supplement on the side, or Michael has to supplement on the side, then so be it. We're comfortable with that for sure. And then not only just that, but just what it helped me with my eyes.
Okay, Jennifer H. From Michigan. She says, hey, thanks for the wisdom on the flu shot. I was going to go get one out of fear of getting sick, but I've been taking very good care of myself, so I have a strong immune system, may not need it. Hey, I got my flu shot this year. She doesn't believe in it. My son doesn't believe in it. I don't always get one, but every now and then, if I'm sitting in a chair and they go, hey, you want a flu shot? And this year I said, yep, I'll take one.
If I'm sitting in a chair and they say, hey, you want a flu shot? I say, no, thank you. I just have not gotten the flu in a very long time, and so I guess my immune system's fine. Now, does that mean there's going to be a guarantee I'm not going to get the flu? No, but there's no guarantee you're not going to get the flu if you get the flu shot either, so why would I put that in my system?
It only hits certain strains that they've tested from, flus in other places or whatever.
And then I also know that there's certain people who work in certain industries. When I was in the Air Force, if I didn't get the flu shot, like, they would have put me in Leavenworth. Like, it's the law. Like, I have to get a flu shot because the military owned me. So every year I was in the military, I had to get a flu shot. That was 6 years in a row. I don't remember if I got the flu or didn't get the flu, but I didn't have a choice. And so now I have a choice, and it's just something that I just don't believe is necessary as long as I'm in a situation where I can protect my immune system. I feel like I'm doing that, and I feel like I'm doing that well. I also know that there's career fields, again, like sort of like the Air Force, you have to get a flu shot. If you're in the medical industry, if you're in the childcare industry, if you're a teacher, yes, it's probably highly recommended or maybe insisted that you get the flu shot. Then you do what you got to do, for sure. But until I have to be in that kind of situation, then I'm going to just kindly say no thank you. Michael got one, he's fine. I think the last time Logan got one, he got like deathly sick, and so he's like, nope, I'm not going to take a flu shot anymore, and he might change his mind down the road too. I don't think we have one. We decline it for Gabby as well. Again, we don't get sick. And so I think it's just that thing it's a personal choice. No one should ever come down on you if you choose to get the flu shot. That's your personal preference. No one should ever come down on you if you choose not to get the flu shot. That's your personal preference. And then if it's just something that's required because of the profession that you have, you just get the flu shot. There's nothing you can do about that, and you just keep your immune system as healthy as can be.
I got a good one. Deanna Smith, she said, yesterday I got the shingles shot And today I am feeling really flu-like. I'm second guessing getting the shot.
Go put some L-Lysine in your system, girlfriend. And, anytime you get those shots, what they do is they give you a little bit of the strain of the thing. So your body builds up an immune system, right? And so you have the shingles right now. Like you have a small strain of shingles going on in your body. So I would go get some L-Lysine. Google how to megadose it. I can't tell you how to megadose it. It's against the law. Google it. It's everywhere. Just Google how to megadose for cold sores. Same thing. It's probably easier to find. Do that for 24 hours and I bet you'll feel like $1 million and you'll be fine. You'll be able to offset it. And that's what I'll do if I ever feel that come back with my eyes. I can recognize it now super easily. So I'll just kind of take some mega dosing. So again, you do what you got to do. There's nothing wrong with going to get the shingles shot. It is what it is. I think because of the field that I'm in and what I study and what I'm exposed to, I just see things and information presented to me in a different way. And so I just make different decisions based on the information that I have available to me. Other people have different information available to them. And that's why I think, this is what I really love about this community here. That's why we can't be judgy and we can't be critical and we can't badmouth and bash people for personal decisions that they make, because they're making informed decisions for themselves at the time in which they made the decision. So we got to be okay with that. Now, you got a shingle shot. Okay, that's awesome. Now you have a little bit of shingles in your body. Just offset it with some of this and you'll feel better. I promise you. If you're in the car, go drive to Target or CVS or Walgreens, wherever you can. Get the smallest bottle of L-Lysine that you can get and then go search how to megadose for it. Take whatever the megadose is tonight before you go to bed. Take it again in the morning and I bet you by mid-afternoon tomorrow you'll feel amazing for sure. Okay, anything else? I think that's it here on Facebook. Let's see, Jacqueline, is it helpful for lowering blood sugars? They did have a little bit of information about L-Lysine and the fact that it did help regulate and control blood sugar levels. So again, I don't
say irregulate or regulate.
Regulate. I don't think that it can hurt you. So if you're suffering anything that you're not comfortable with, it won't hurt you to add a little L-Lysine into your daily routine. And again, you don't have to be like super like, I have to take it every day. I think just even occasionally dropping it in with if you take a supplement rotation, popping one in every now and then will be fine. And if you start to feel a little off, maybe take it a little bit more consistently. That's at least how I handle it for myself. You got something over there?
Oh, she said, thanks.
Okay.
I'll get some right away. Probably not while I'm fasting though,
girlfriend,
right?
here's the deal. You can fast forever. Like you can fast for the rest of your life every single day. If I just got the shingles shot and I was feeling like I had a touch of the shingles, I would break a fast to get some L-Lysine in my system. So I would say go get your L-Lysine. If you're in your car and you have a water bottle, just knock one back to get it started and then figure out how to megadose for the rest of the night and then tomorrow morning for sure. And megadose just basically means you're gonna bring your body up to efficiency to fight off whatever you have. So don't let the word megadose scare you either. It's just bringing everything up to efficiency levels really quickly for sure. So yeah, girlfriend, I would break a fast for that in a second because you can always fast tomorrow for sure. Okay, so we're gonna let you guys go. Have a super great Friday, and I don't know if
Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend. We have our son coming home from college this weekend, so we're super excited about that. We get to hang out with him. And little Gabby's off on Monday because it's President's Day, I believe, on Monday.
Some teacher thing or something.
Teacher. It's a teacher, something day, but the kids get off of school, so we're excited because we'll have an extra day with Gabs at home on Monday. So we plan on going live Monday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless we end up going out and doing something fun for President's Day. And if we do, we will let you guys know via a post. So that's important that you are set up for notifications. So if for some reason we change our plans on Monday, you will be notified for sure. Thanks for joining us, you guys. I hope this information is helpful to you. By no means is it is us trying to prescribe anything to you or insist that you do something to be super healthy. It's just us sharing our personal experiences and hopefully providing some information.
What's the acronym? Google
that stuff. Google everything. At least you have some information to be able to pull from and be a little bit more informed about some stuff going on. And then you can always take that with you to your doctor. And, oftentimes I end up leaving my doctor's office feeling a little good about myself because I've taught them something as well. So go teach your doctor something by what you're Googling. Have a great weekend. If you guys need anything from us, you can always reach out to us.
Have a good one.